Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. Today is July 28th. It's Takeoff Tuesday. My name is Keely and I'm your host today. Today we get to learn from Bill Predebon. I've gotten to know Bill over the last about four and a half years because we've both been working together in Scottsdale, Arizona. And Bill is just a passionate person. He's got amazing energy. He loves animals. He loves the planet. And he loves his business. He takes this opportunity very seriously, and he leads by example and has created so much success on both the marketing side as well as the business side, the real estate side. He's done a lot of deals. I think he's working on around his 150th deal, if not more. And he's usually working on multiple transactions at a time, all while building for events and getting enrollments very regularly. So before Renatus, Bill was working as a pro skier for 10 years in Vail, Colorado, and he realized that he was not really qualified to do much else. He then got into the franchise business and he owned a couple of stores, and due to lack of knowledge, he ended up losing everything and sold the stores, and that just ended up not working out. In 2007, he heard about real estate investing and he attempted to do this on his own without education. He had not come across Renatus yet, but he knew that real estate investing was something that could be lucrative. And this was actually right around the crash. So during the 2008 crash, Bill was upside down in over $400,000. Then Bill found Renatus, and in his first year, he made 8 times more than he did the previous year as both a loan officer and a realtor. And ever since then, like I said, he's completed around 150 transactions. He's grossed multiple 7 figures, as well as is recognized by our CEO as a key leader. He is on the PIT, meaning he's in training to be on the President's Advisory Council. And we're so very fortunate to learn from Bill this morning. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
I'm pretty good this morning.
Good.
Pretty awake. I too got up a little early. I always get up a little early on Tuesdays than I ever thought I would. I see people like on this chat like 3 a.m., 5:30. I'm like, what? You guys are cray. Like, I love sleeping. No, actually I don't. I only sleep like 6 hours a day, but I just don't like getting up early because I go to bed like between 11:30 and 1 maybe. But right on, Keely. You're just awesome putting this together, coming up with so much info, and I love it. If you don't know it, you'll feel free to ask people about it. That's the best thing to do, right? Instead of fake it, just be like, oh, I'm not really sure, so maybe someone wants to tell me what it is. And we just appreciate you, everybody on this line, all 285 people on the line. Just really appreciate there's not everything you do for us in the morning, kicking it off. And got to hear about Warren frickin' Buffett today, so now I'm just mad. I'm just like in a mad place. I just don't like him. I want $65 billion. So anyway, so enough of Warren Buffett. Right? No, you're awesome putting this whole thing together, and so thanks. We appreciate you very much.
You're very welcome.
You're awesome. Speaking of awesome, you guys, how killer was yesterday, right? I don't know if you made it on there, but a big shout out to Tani Shaw, who killed it on the comp plan, in my opinion. Like, I don't know if she made that stupid, ridiculously good PowerPoint, but I'm just mad at her for that because I would have it on black and white scribble. And so I just texted Michael. I'm like, Michael, give me that damn thing. I want it. So she killed it, you guys. Okay, so let's see. I'm just checking the thing. We have Mountain Time. Michael said so yesterday. Got it now. I like traffic lights if they're green or semi-orangish pinking. But so she did awesome, and it was great because just like you, Keely, and you had to do it when we barely knew it, right? When it was brand new. She stepped up. Michael challenged her, whatever. They just talked about it, and she's just took it upon herself to figure it out. And it's a good, powerful thing to know. And we're going to talk about that today, I think. So, and Michael also, really spelled it out in the beginning on how to take control of your business. And so a lot of you guys are new, or maybe you're just re-engaging or whatever it is. And it's powerful. Like I get multiple texts and people get all mad, like, oh, Bill, I have a group text for my team and they're like, oh, I'm getting so many texts. And I get it. There's a lot of texts, but you can choose to ignore stuff. You can choose to skip over it. You can choose to understand what it is. And if it's not important, you don't look at it. It's like, are you going to email everybody that sends you an email? Like, would you stop emailing me? I'm getting so many emails. I mean, come on. So you guys, Michael talks about taking control of your business and just getting on the 411 call and getting on the Facebook pages. You don't have to use every one of them every day. You're not going to get on 15 calls, but maybe, like AA, maybe one time you're going to need a call and it just happens to be there at the right time for you. So it's powerful that we have all this training. This is going to be awesome, you guys, today. Like I usually don't structure too much, but I structured this a little bit because I was thinking about how great Tawny did yesterday. And, like you all on this call, we have great people in this community across the nation. And Tawny's one of them. Like Tawny is freaking cool. And for her to bust that out yesterday, in my opinion, was awesome. So I think we need to take advantage of it. So I'm going to, what was I going to say? I'm going to start with a quick story. It's interesting. So I'm on a phone. It's kind of a long story. And I don't want to get into it too much. You guys know I'm working on this line of credit. And we had to bob and weave with COVID on this line of credit. We were looking at about 10 million to start with from London. It's a long story, and I was lined up. I basically helped pay to structure this, invest in this deal, if you will, to get this $2.5 million line of credit, which will become a $5 million business line of credit, right? Non-recourse. It's pretty cool off-market deal. And it went sideways fast with COVID and everything else. And so I'm not heavily involved, but we're working on trying to take advantage. That's the bad word. One of my partners in Chicago has some relationships, and these relationships have money, and these people that have money, they're working on there's a high demand for masks and gloves, as I can imagine you are aware of. And so we dove into that space a little bit. And so it was interesting because we're fixing to close the first one. And we're talking about a shipment of about 10 million boxes of masks. And they're on the ground in LA, but we're trying to put buyer and seller together. And so it's not easy to close this thing, especially when you have no traction in the business. And there's a lot of fraud. There's a lot of unverifiable information about the masks and the gloves and the authenticity, and it's crazy, you guys. I wouldn't even know. Kind of like when we hear about trafficking and stuff, we're like, it's not even fathomable. And so, long story short, is we're about to close this first deal, and the commission on this first deal for all of us is like $3 million. Now, I only have a small portion of that, but it's like a $3 million commission because we're talking about a $56 million purchase order. So interestingly enough, I said, well, how do you know, Rick, that this is like where are we at? Like this has been 4 months, you guys, of relentless phone calls to get this done. And so it's not, I don't recommend it to anybody. And he goes, I'll tell you. He's like, I don't know. But what I do know is that relationships close business, and that's how you do business. And I have a relationship now with this buyer, and I have a relationship with this attorney, and these attorneys have to come together. It's along the SGS that you have to get, and these attorneys have to control the funds. They are called paymasters, and it's long when large wires are coming in from outside the United States. Obviously, you just for terrorism reasons, you just can't transfer $10 million into the United States from a foreign country. It goes through a paymaster, and it's very expensive. Anyway, so my point to this story is relationships close business, and we are a relationship business. And I mean, as soon as he said it, I was like, wow, it's cool. All right. So hopefully we'll close this in the next couple of days. With that being said, I want to talk about, that leads me into this. And you guys remember, oh shoot, you know what I forgot, you guys? is my little number, which I always do, because some of you aren't on the chat, you're not on the Zoom, you're on the phone call. So I just set it out, 760-533-3141. 760-533-3141. That is my cell phone number if you ever need to or have a desire to reach out. And remember to, and I forget to say it sometimes, but everybody hopefully knows, and some of you are new and or haven't been here in a while. A couple of announcements. One is you can interrupt me anytime. You can go off any tangent you want. You can ask a question about anything that has to be pertaining to your business and what you want to hear about or what you want me to give an opinion about, and someone else might be able to come off chat or mute or chat or whatever and answer your question as well. So you can get the info you need today on regards to your business. Secondly, and you don't need to raise your hand or everything, you can just do what you need to do. Secondly, Michael and I were chatting yesterday, Huggins, and there was an announcement a little bit about UGA and stuff and some stuff on the webinar, founders webinar. But I will tell you this, there's an update from Jay Stark, and it has to do with your UGA customers. So if you've been around, pay attention. Or if you're on UGA or you were on UGA, pay attention. It is potentially possible that Matt Snyder and Jay Stark and not customer service, but these two individuals have some information in regards to UGA and may be able to help re-engage your UGA students, okay? So if you have a student or you were on UGA and there became an issue financially to sustain that, Scott announced it this morning, sustain that payment, right? Whatever, doesn't matter. I don't know how long it matters. It could be a year ago and they went off. I've already contacted 2 people. I had multiple people on UGA in the very beginning, and then I was not very impressed with UGA, and it became not a factor for me. I did have 1 team member pay off UGA in 3 years, but I also had about 10 not ever. And so I've had a few not even make 1 payment. So I reached out to a few of them, and I let them know that if they want to contact customer service at Jay Stark and Matt Snyder, that is possible. It's not guaranteed or anything like that, but that they can help them re-engage into the system. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if they're going to move them into billing. I don't know if they're going to help them get back with UGA. I don't know how the education is going to get turned back on, but all of that sounds possible. So my suggestion is take a look at your notes. If it's you or someone you know, get the word out that it's possible, and they're working on being able to re-engage people into a system and put them into a likelihood of actually paying for their education over time so that you can get paid and you can change their life, and who knows, maybe they'll engage in the marketing. You never know what could happen with a nice phone call. All right, so take note and take action. So speaking of taking action, we have a comp plan that's very powerful. All right. Scott says that Bill is now handling all UGA accounts. Okay, so whatever that looks like, I'm not going to go, and he knows more than I do. So I would call, but all I know is that there's a possibility that however the information that corporate has now, the tools that they have from UGA will enable them to re-engage people, possibly. All right. So how do we implement this comp plan? You heard Michael say that he's reaching out to ICMs. He has a bet with Ryan Black. Whoever gets 100 ICMs from day 1 to now to the future, the next newest 100, right? So they're going to count starting whatever it was a week ago. Whoever reaches 100 first wins. It's a race. Okay, so he's going after LinkedIn accounts, ICMs, and introducing a business, and that is a strategy. So my guess is that when Michael engages somebody, he's probably not necessarily going to immediately sell them on the power of the education and how it works. Now, if those people are going to go out and sell to retail customers, he's going to train them on the value of the product because they may not own the product, so they don't know it. They're not going to be using the product. They're not driving the car. So he's going to have to help train them on selling a product they don't use. What he may sell them on, in my opinion, and my guess is the comp plan, right? The power to make money and how fast you can make money and how it doesn't cost you anything to make money and how you can make money and pay for your own education along the way. So with that, he's going after a business person. And you heard him specifically say, or at least I did, that they're going after MLMers, or he's going after MLMers. Him and Skylar Jess, I think he said, was working on it. And people in the network marketing business, right? And in that industry. So it's a target rich environment for people that are going to understand our comp plan. I don't know that so I'll get to this. So here's what I'm saying. We've got this great comp plan, and I'm going to give you an example. Examples and stories always work when you're selling, right? I'm trying to sell you a concept here. I'm selling you. So put your credit card information in the chat and I will take a picture of it. So I got to tell a story. So I'm working with these two guys, right? And they're young guys, and they were a warm market lead. And I believe I'll close them this week on a Epics combo. And they've got the funding and they want it real estate. Now I have to convince them that this is the where to park their money. They're interested in real estate, and one of them is a marketing wizard. He markets for his dad's company. And the other guy is, I shouldn't say a wizard, he's in marketing and sales. And the other guy's in loans, all right? He's a loan officer. So we had a quick conversation and he's like, hey, I want to know how the teams work, right? He asked a question about it. And I went on a very, very high level about the teams and I didn't get into the comp plan, but I did mention that, of course I have to send him the disclosure, right, on email, but I did mention what I made last year. As a business marketing the education. I just mentioned 50%. I didn't break it down. I didn't tell them about all the products or anything. I said, you can earn up to 50% of the profits. That was the extent of it. I said, it's a pretty lucrative business. I treat it, and it also grows my real estate business. Very light stuff when I answer the question. Now, I am not by any means going to teach them the comp plan right now. I'm not going to introduce it to them. I'm not going to send them a comp plan video. They're not interested in marketing. They are in marketing. They're interested in business. They are busy with their jobs. I'm sure that if they could have more free time, they'd want it. All of that makes sense. But I do not want them to believe that, honestly, they could go and sell this education and then pay for their education. And that's possible, but I don't know that it's likely. I've never known anybody to do it. And so I don't want to sell that. I want to sell them the education. And they want to get into real estate, and I'm not going to introduce him to the comp plan, whether he wants to do marketing today or not. So now if he's begging me for a job and needs money and is like, I just hate my job, and there's all these indicators, and I'm going to go into detail on them, then I might go in a different direction for the one gentleman. The other guy likes his loan job and is happy with his loan job, and he wants to use that for real estate. So you get my point. The story is that we need to be strategic about the comp plan. I think there are definitely, and you've heard this training before, I'm not going to go deep into the two different types of people you're going to market to, but we're going to talk about a few things. But in the meantime, I have a quick sidebar note question here. I'm working with, how would you handle a customer I have that lives in Colorado and is a real estate investor who is using mentors now to find deals now? So how would I handle that customer? So James, I don't know if you want to come off mute, but I need a little bit more information. So it depends on where, are they saying they don't need the education or that they already have mentors? Or
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
So they do already have mentors, and they've used mentors a few times, and they have a mentor actually coming out to work with them in person, and they're going to find deals together.
Okay. So what did you ask him? Like, what is he looking for? I mean, if he's got this stuff.
It's a she, and I'm talking to her about our education, everything based on everything she's telling me. Everything that she's doing is great, except we have it all put together in one package. She's seeking it here and there and things like that. So I'm telling her about our education and how good it is and the classes and everything I'm taking. And I'm trying to go ahead and get her obviously to come with us, but she's thinking that this idea of mentors might be better.
Okay. So you guys, I think for everybody on this line, including myself, this is powerful. Number one is, and I know you don't mean it necessarily, but you use the word telling on multiple occasions in telling me what you were telling me about her. So you're telling her about our education, which we have to tell at some point, but telling is not selling, and it's just a fact. My opinion, right off the bat, for me, I want to know what she's looking for. Like, okay, you've got these mentors. And then I would pose questions. So if you saw Woody on the webinar yesterday, he talked about a bridge, and it was a question. The way you get across the bridge is you ask questions. You keep asking questions. When you get from one side to the other, from someone who's not buying to someone who's buying. So a couple of the questions. Number one is, we have to be real about this, you guys. In my opinion, there's no question. You guys, there are more ways than Renatus to do real estate. They can do it on their own and get lucky, and they might even learn, and maybe they're really good and smart, and they might have some sort of knack, and they become a real estate investor like Donald Trump when someone gives them some money and they can go and do it. There are mentors, there's bigger pockets, there is education everywhere. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and there is more to real estate investing, learning how to do it, than Renatus. However, we truly believe it's the best opportunity, given all of the circumstances and all the education. But you try to tell somebody that when they are focused, they've spent time, energy, money trying to find it their way, and now you're like, your way is good, but we got a better way. You got to see this way. This way is the way to go. Like I know that taste, but this tastes even better. And people are gonna listen to you, and they're gonna second guess it, and they'll be like, damn it. Why couldn't I, like in their mind, they might be like, I wish I saw Renatus, but I'm not spending any more time or money going down a different rabbit hole. I've already gone down this way. I'm convinced that this is it. I'm going to try this till I die. Right? So we have to literally convince people. And I'm going to talk about this on sales, because we have to convince people, like, for lack of a better term, but that's not our job, right? We're not trying to convince, right? A person convinced against their will is still, whatever Gary says, man, I should remember that. It's still against their will, right? They're still not really happy to do it. So we have to ask, like, the questions are, and you just said it, and you said it in your own definition. You're like, when we pose questions about, let me ask you, like, how long do you think it's going to take for like these mentors, and you piecing together all the information you need, not even knowing what you need to piece together. You're going to learn that along the way, because you're not going to know it all. You're not even going to know what to look for when it comes to all the options in real estate investing. So let me ask you, how long is it going to take? How long are you willing to wait for this to happen? Well, we're going after deals this weekend, and they're going to fly in, and it's going to be, and you're like, cool, that's awesome. But here's what I'm saying. Let's just say you get a deal done. Let's just say you actually wholesale a deal. You know what I mean? And you make $10,000. That's awesome, right? You're going to be able to go rinse and repeat. At what point do you become wealthy? At what point do you have not a job? At what point do you have a business? At what point, what do you want to get? Do you want to just be a wholesaler and just every month find a house and sell it off and sell a contract, or flip a house every 6 months or 4 months? Or do you want to start to build a business? Do you want to start to have protection? Do you want to keep more of the money you make? And you're not going to ask all those questions. Like, you're going to have a conversation about asking questions, you guys, because they have to determine that their way sucks. Okay, they have to come to the conclusion that what they're doing is beating their head against a freaking door, because it's going to take a lot longer. We cannot tell them that it doesn't work, that they're doing it the wrong way, although we believe it. But for the right person, maybe me, maybe you, maybe Michael Huggins, they might be able to actually do it. They might kick our butts in all the people that are in Renatus and take off and use these mentors and kill it. That is possible. We have to accept the fact that anything is possible, and all we're trying to do is give the majority of people the best path possible. And we have that, but we can't tell them that, especially that's why people like that own businesses and stuff, even loan officer people like mortgage brokers, they don't want a 20-year veteran loan officer coming into their office. Yeah, they got a bunch of experience, but they're set in their ways. And these guys are like, no, we don't do it that way. No, we don't call people up anymore and just try to win them over through flowers and candy. We hammer the phones, we get dialers going, we do all this automated crap, whatever they do. And the guy's like, no, I've been closing business. They don't want these veterans. Same thing with car salesmen too. Like so we want real estate investors who don't know. Let me tell you, when I got started in real estate and I bought Renatus back in the day, I didn't know there was anything out there. I had never heard of fortune builders. Why? Because I'm terrible at research, and I'm too lazy to go look out I didn't even use the internet, right? In 2006, I don't even know if there was internet, right? I saw one thing, and it was a freaking street sign, and I called on it, right? And then I followed that path. I wasn't out searching. I wasn't questioning whether or not it's true or not. Like, if that was me, I was so green and so ignorant to real estate investing education. I tried reading books, but I'm not a reader. I'm not a big researcher. I'm not an intellect. I don't do any of that crap. So I just needed someone to tell me where to go. And so if I'd have gone to any other seminar, most likely I would have bought that program. All right? Because I'm just looking for what people are telling me is going to work, and then I believe the system, right? So it's very important, folks, that you can win this client over. You can win over any client into Renatus. And eventually, over time, they'll probably fail at what they're doing, or it's going to take too long. I've been working with a client out of Pittsburgh, out of Idaho, who's my guy in Pittsburgh, Melvin, and he has constantly beat his, but he's read 3 Feet from Gold. He feels he's 3 feet from gold. So for 18 months, he's been trying to nail down one single apartment building by going through this, $6,000 mentor people who are going to, partner with him and give him 30%, and he's going to bring all the money, and he's going to find the deal, and he's got no deal done. He was like, well, I got time, I'm going to give it a little more time. This is my path. I owe it to myself. I really didn't put much effort in the first 6 months, and then the first 12 months, and all of it may be true, but dude, I can't sit there and tell him that Renatus is the way to go, because he's committed, man. He's pot committed to this deal. And we have to have them learn themselves and actually be honest with themselves by asking questions and sharing stories about other people doing stuff faster and better, so that they can begin to actually come out of their shell and go, you know what, you're right. I wasted this freaking money, and I should have never bought this stupid program or these mentors. And I need to invest another $20,000 into this deal. Right? And that's just a fact. Like, that's it. So that's going to lead. This is a great question. How long do they rely on someone else to? Yeah, that's a good question, Keely. A person convinced their will is. Thank you, Andy. Because that's what Gary says, and he says it to me 1,000 times, and I trust Gary's.
Bill, I'm sorry to interrupt. So
Yeah,
what
no, go
I
ahead.
talked to them about on that same subject is our community and how we help each other. And to most degree, we're completely selfless in helping people. And I told her I'm going to introduce her to some people from the Colorado area that are doing the deals.
You're gonna, and I don't mean this bad, James, but what I'm
Sure.
saying is, you told her you're going to introduce her to people. You told her about our community and how.
Correct.
And how did she say, "Man, I wish I had more people to associate myself with"?
No.
So what I'm getting at is, you'd be like, "Listen, let me ask you, what's it like? Like, how's this mentorship work? What do you guys do? Is it just you, or you get to get in a Facebook group and meet up with a bunch of other investors that are brand new trying to get a deal done, and then they tell stories how these guys actually really did help them get a deal done? Do you ever get to have that information? Like, we got to break it down. Like, we've got to be.
That sounds better.
Yeah, you guys, we got to ask what, because we know the answers. We know what it is that they're missing, but we need them to tell us what's missing and be like, I would have thought that they would have that for you at 20 grand or 5 grand or 8 grand or 1 grand. I don't care how much it costs. They should have everything we have. So we don't want to tell them what we have, but we want to be like, oh, okay, yeah. No, because me and my buddies, we get together Thursday nights and we just mastermind on the real estate. No big deal. But so let me ask you, so like when they fly in, like do they give you like a formula, and then like you have this like a whole bunch, like 150 documents or something where you can pick and choose from for the deal? Like, do they teach you subject to, and then you also learn creative financing, and you possibly buy that, you could learn how to borrow money from private money and hard money and use a partnership? You don't want to say all those, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, she's like, no, well, what they do is they give us 30 grand, they give us all the money. And then, they teach us to tie up the contract, but it's just a wholesaling contract. I'm like, oh, okay. So like, if you wanted to flip the house, well, they're not really teaching flipping, but if we did that, we could sell it to them and they would flip it and give us a portion of the net. Oh, so they would do the fix and flipping. You really wouldn't learn. Yeah. But I'm not trying to learn fix and flip. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Cause you don't ever want to give up a bunch of $100,000 deals sometime when it only make 10, right? Well, no, I'd want to keep that one. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm just curious. So you know what I mean? We have to find out what the heck she bought and what she's into, and and then we can be like, tell a little story. Oh, my buddy Bill, he was working with one of his students, and they were able to do the whole deal, and all he did was coach him through it. and he got none of the money. You know, I'm just using an example, right? Or whatever. Or, you know, however it works, we got to tell a quick story. And then she's like, oh, where, what's that? Oh, that's just in that group that we work with. You know, we work with a bunch of people. We kind of think about abundant mindset. You know, most investors are like, you know, they're pretty strict and they, you know, they don't want to share all their secrets and that until you pay for it, right? But we're kind of the opposite. And then you don't even say anything more. And then she's like, oh, well, what kind of group, when do you meet? You know, where do you meet on Thursday nights? I don't understand. And then she's going to be asking you about your program instead of you telling her about our program. Does that make sense, James?
Most definitely. Much better than the way I was doing it. Yeah, much better.
Awesome.
I will definitely try that. Thank you.
Cool. You got it. That's a great question.
That's an awesome perspective.
Yeah,
Bill.
go ahead, Billy.
Thank you. Yeah, that's an awesome perspective. That's an awesome perspective for people that are familiar with real estate education to ask them what they're receiving. I love it.
Absolutely. With these two guys, these guys could go read books. They've already they're on Bigger Pockets all the time. For me to sit there and tell them, well, we've got this and they don't have that, like maybe an intellect, you know, only like a strict engineer would sit there and listen to the pros and cons of each different program, and you can convince them that our program is better when you compare side by side. Most people have a little relator in them. And most people are looking for the best, easiest, fastest, cheapest way to do it because they're executive and a director, right? They don't want to spend the money. They don't want to waste their time. And when they spend the money, they don't want to know that they're wrong and that they screwed up and they wasted their money. And now they're going to do it till they die. So we're too late to the party. We showed up with Renatus too late. They've already gone their own way. So now we still can convert these people, but we've got to convert them the right way by letting them realize. And then we have to gain some trust, you guys, and build a relationship. So they'll be willing to come out and say, yeah, well, maybe I could, maybe if I could get some money back from them, and maybe if I could, if I could see the value and I didn't have to spend the 20 grand, but I could be a part of your group some way, or maybe you could help me find the funding, then maybe I could do, still work this one, but I could also have this other resource, right? And so, then they can start to come out of their own shell and be like, and be honest with themselves and take some accountability and be like, this ain't working. I've been doing, these people have been promising me they're going to fly out here and get me a deal for 3 months, and it's not happening. All right. Awesome. Everybody's kind of chatting in about open-ended questions and stuff. So I was thinking about this, and when it comes to this comp plan and it comes to, this is great, selling real estate. So most of us sell retail sales. We eventually want them to get into the marketing, and we want them to join our team and come to the events. And eventually they're going to hear about the marketing, and people are going to talk, and they're going to be more curious, and we'll backdoor them into the marketing, and maybe 1 or 2 of them are going to take off and do the marketing. All right. But in the meantime, we've got a great real estate customer. They're going to out partnering with people in the community, loving the community, loving on the community, being a big part of it. That's going to be huge. They're going to love our education, and they're going to get a deal done. And so with that, we are catering to those people, right? And so let's think about this. When we're out marketing and we're thinking about the comp plan, there's a certain point that I use the comp plan when I'm talking to a marketer, when I'm talking to a client. Now, most of the people, let's be real, they are coming to us looking for real estate because I don't know, I don't even know the answer to this, right? But like me, they're broke. And I don't mean that they're broke like they have no money like me or in debt, but they're not always sitting on a bunch of cash and they don't have a bunch of resources, but they understand that real estate and they have a desire and they're ready and they're willing even, but they're not able. And they have kids, they have a job, they have potential, right, to be able to do it, but they're stuck. And so one of the things that, and I'm going to get into this, but so with these folks, man, it's kind of a tangent. So the problem that we have is that it's difficult. Like these are the most common people we come across is people that cannot fund that would do it in a minute if they had a resource to do it. Okay. So, and that's common because there's a there's a embedded, anybody looking for real estate, anybody looking to, that have that desire to be an entrepreneur, that have that desire to be wealthier, that there's something better, they're reading books or whatever they're doing, they've got this little bug inside of them. When they research real estate, everybody teaches for decades and decades and decades. This is my opinion, by the way, that it's ingrained in us that you can do real estate with no money or credit. That you can buy a house for $600, that you could do a tax lien, that you can, it's all crap, right? There's the one person in a million that bought a tax lien in Chicago that on a $300,000 house for $645. I've never met that person, but according to the infomercials of the old days and all the gurus that are out there, that's what's possible. I don't know that that's possible, right? But what I do know what's possible is that you could buy a lot of real estate with no money or credit of your own, and or you could be very creative and use the seller's money and credit and they don't even know it, right? And that's with the right education in the right community. So when it comes to marketing, and it comes to the comp plan, only when someone tells me, when we're working on something and we can't find a resource, right? We can't find a resource and in order to fund. So we've got to consider the comp plan, and we've got to consider the comp plan either to replace what they're doing. So for example, Steve Harrington's a good buddy of mine. He's on my team. And his situation was he was doing real estate as an agent, and it's kind of similar to me. And then he was also, got into car sales because these are things that you can get into pretty easily with low money out of pocket. And then you can make 100% commission and share a little bit of commission with your broker, but you can get a base. There's lots of reasons, right? It fits. Your schedule seems to be flexible. The potential of making a lot of money fast is there for the few people that are able to do it. So that's the type of people that we deal with on a regular basis, is me and Steve. And so when you look at the comp plan, you're like, if I spent some time on this comp plan, then actually that's almost better than me trying to get cars sold, because I could go sell this and make $3,500 on my first sale, right? Based on that 10 grand. Now here's the problem. Now watch. The old plan, you had to buy. The odds of you getting 5-star qualified in the old plan were not good if you didn't buy. All right, it's just a fact. There's a few exceptions, but for the majority, you had to buy even though no purchase was required, right? We just physically had to say, now it's considered enticement, whatever. So we eliminated that. It's old school. Don't buy, right? In that case, what's the reality? When we look at people that were selling, like if you think about a home, right? You become a new realtor or a new car salesman. Here's the facts. You're at a car dealer all freaking day, 14 hours a day, and people drive on the lot, and there's some training. We have training. There's some good money. We've got better money. No purchase required. They don't have to buy a Ford to sell a Ford, okay? You go through your little training and you're out on the lot, and the odds of you getting what they call an up, right? Someone walking up on the lot, you go out and grab them, and they're your customer, and you sell them and you close them, and your trainer comes over and gets half the commission because they had to close the deal for you because you're brand new, right? And just like in any other service, we offer the same thing that they do, right? Our 5 stars are gonna help you. Now, the problem with me telling Steve and working and Steve's working on this with me, but me going, hey, quit your job over there and come over here. We don't have a storefront, right? We don't have leads. We don't give them leads. We show them how to get leads, but let's be real. The elephant in the room is the fact that this is hard because we don't have leads, okay? And when I say hard, that's bad because that's kind of, this is not easy. It's simple, but we don't have the leads. Loan officer jobs, when you go sign up for a higher end brokerage that's going to take more commission, they're going to provide you with leads, and you're going to be able to cold call all darn day long. And that's simple. In people's minds, they're working and they're like, oh, I'm just going to try this for a little while and I'm going to make some, hopefully I'm going to get some big fish on the hook and I'm going to make a big commission in my first 90 days and it's going to be awesome, blah, blah, blah. And it's crap, right? It's all crap. The person needs to get their butt trained and they need to learn how to do it. And then they need to go out and get somebody and they need to build a relationship. And that's who's going to be their first deal. But they're sold on this, come into our brokerage and we've got all these leads. We're going to provide you cold leads and good leads and bad leads and warm leads. And it's going to be great. And it's all crap. Same thing with the car dealership. The people that cut their teeth in the car dealership, brand new, the ones that actually stick around, have a list and they call their warm market and they tell everybody and their brother they're selling cars and they're hammering the phones and they're not even calling cold leads, they're calling warm leads. They're calling their people. Now this is speculation a little bit on my part, but here's the deal. Here's what I'm getting at. Like even with a realtor, you become a realtor, it is much easier for you to you know what I mean? Like to tell your friends and family, hey, if you know anybody buying or selling a house, I can be your realtor. And like you're licensed and there's this warm, fuzzy feeling about it. But it's not the same. We're like, hey, if you know if anybody wants to invest in real estate, I got the goods. Come buy this stuff from me, refer them to me, right? We're afraid of that. So there's a couple options, you guys. And I'm going to close up with this, right? This is awesome. So Zach Ullman and Samari Ullman, they're recently on the pack and they're killing it, right? Hawaii, yeah, that's awesome, man. 20 years. You know the business. You know what I'm talking about. I love this question. So here's the deal. Zach, if you're good at computers, I recommend take some time and bust out some systems and get some leads coming. Get some people searching the internet for home-based businesses, for real estate education, for making money at home, whatever it is. Get some funnels. I don't even know, I think funnel, I think cake, and I'm going to eat it and get fatter than I already am, right? That's me. I don't know funnel from anything, from a fair. Build a website, do your stuff. If you're good at computers or whatever, you're good at hiring people, I've had 2 assistants that I paid an unbelievable amount of money with, and I can't get them off the ground doing anything because I don't know how to delegate. I don't even know how to give them content and make a video so they can learn how to do what I do, right? It's useless for me. I gotta reframe, train my brain, and I gotta be better at what I'm doing. But you folks, if you know how to do it, I would do it. Zach Ullman decided, and he's not that much younger than me, so he decided he's going to do it. He wasn't going to use my excuse to let him hold him back. And they got online systems, and they are filling the room. Now, I talked to him the other day about it, and here's the thing when you're filling the room. You got to be a good sorter. You've got to sort. You've got to spend a lot of time with a lot of people that are never going to buy crap, okay, ever. It's just a fact. When I did Craigslist, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of leads. What did it do for me? It hardened my skin, right? It taught me to fail. It taught me to take no. It taught me to chase people. It taught me to hate people. It taught me that what I was bad at, that I wasn't getting people to the meeting, or when I got them to the meeting, they wouldn't go to the follow-up. When if they went to the follow-up, then I couldn't close them because I was fishing in the wrong pond and they didn't have any money, right? Then I try to convince them against their will, and I try to go, find an angel investor most of the time, and it just didn't work. But it trained me. It trained me to be good at my trade and become good at something specific. And I became a better person at what I do. So here's your other options, right? So I suggest that you have that lead source of some sort, right? Some sort of cold market lead source, and then you've got your warm market lead source. And we all know fastest way to money is warm market. Make your list. I get it all, right? There's reasons we don't. There's reasons we make it and never tell anybody about it. There's reasons we make it and don't ever call anybody, and I get it. But I don't have that. I didn't have that problem. I was out doing real estate. So my real estate warm market, my warm market and 3-foot rule was a little bit easier path because we had something in common. The bridge was already there. I just had to cross over it, right? So what I got good at is walking people through the system, getting them to an event, booking the follow-up, and following up with them, right? Asking questions. And most of the time I'd run into money problems, and that was it. Right? But I had somebody, a solid relationship lead, and those people have come back over time and bought from me, right? My problem isn't today, doing 1 sale a month this year right now, is I don't have enough lead sources. I don't have a cold lead source. I'm not spending enough time on it. And I don't spend enough time on my warm market lead sources. I should be doing 2 or 3 sales a month or 4. And because I would be spending more time with the warm market leads that I do, but I work with 1 or 2 people a week, right? It takes them 2 or 3 months to fund, or some people fund much quicker. You ask Dane Clark, he funded someone in like 3 days, and you ask Dane Clark to fund someone in 6 years. It's all the same for everybody. So, the point is this, like, if we're thinking about salespeople, and 7:55, I'm just making sure. Today, practicing open-ended question. Yep, I love it. Hawaii bot. Okay, just tucked in the chat. Like, let's be real. When it comes to salespeople, like I did a one-on-one with a girl, and she's, she's in timeshare sales. Super cool girl, pretty girl. Her and her mom are down for real estate, and she's accustomed to making money. And so she told the story probably 3 or 4 times to me, how she was the #1 salesperson, you know, fastest ever in the timeshare business to blah, blah, win this trip, whatever. And then COVID hit, right? So now she's not making any money. And the individual that invited her is dedicated to the comp plan. Like, this is perfect for her. Why doesn't she do this? This is, you know, she needs this. She could make money and it would solve her problems. Then we could figure out the money on how to fund the education. They don't want to buy the education. She wants to learn real estate on her own. These are legitimate things. She seriously doesn't feel like she needs to pay for education yet, okay? Because she's smart. She feels like she gets it. You know, her friends are realtors. Her friends are investors, right? So here's the thing. If you think about this individual, the comp plan's not going to sell her on it. Why? Because we don't provide leads. When you walk into a timeshare lead, you go in on a Saturday and a Tuesday night and a Wednesday night, and you sit at the round table, and everybody walks in there getting a free $150 meal or whatever the heck they get. They're getting a trip to Hawaii, Canada, and Florida, and all wrapped up in a bun. And they're coming in there, and all she has to do is memorize a script, throw in her beauty, throw in some questions and answers, right? And run down this order, this system, and close the people under high pressure. And she's got good at it. But that's it. The leads are provided. You bring that person out of their element, and now they have to do the whole process, and that's what Renatus is about. So we have to share the facts with them and explain this comp plan. But the leads are there. The leads are the list. The leads are the 200 people. The leads are that warm market list. And we can teach them how to use other cold sources, right? How to use LinkedIn and Facebook. We have the marketing training. We have all those trainings. So we have to sell that, not just the comp plan, not just how much money they can make. Because if you're trying to sell something, people know that they can make money in sales everywhere. But they also are, I don't know, I shouldn't say this, somewhat lazy. And it's the fastest it's the fastest way with the least resistance. And that has to do with a job, right? Even though it's 100% 1099, I work for myself, I'm a salesperson, they're going to put themselves in an environment where the majority of the things are stacked up like dominoes for them, and then they just have to knock them down. And they got good over the years at knocking them down. Loan officer, car sales, timeshare sales, whatever sales, corporate sales they're in, whatever that is, retail sales, all of it. The leads, somebody is marketing the crap out of whatever it is they're selling, and then they are the salespeople. Not the case here. We are independent marketing. Like, what are we? Independent contracted marketers. We are marketers because we have to market, right? We're not independent salespeople, right? We're independent contracted marketers because we have to market for leads. We have to market the information, right? And then we have to be a salesperson and close the information, right? So we have to get good. And the way that you get good goes all the way back to the beginning. And all of you guys have your own little ways, and you have the education stuff, but you close business by building relationships. That's how you close business, is you build relationships. If you have someone who has a program already, if you have someone who has other opportunity, who's in a different job, right? Then ask them about it. Like, give a crap about what they do. What did they spend? How much was it? What aren't you getting? Why do you feel like you can get, what's going to happen in 6 months when you get this deal done and they fly out here? What's it going to, I want to know. Maybe you've got something I need to know about. So when I reach other people, I can tell them, you know what, I got to tell you, my one friend only spent $5,000 and she did a deal. You know what I mean? But do you just want to do a deal, or do you want to become wealthy, right? What do you want to do with the money when you make it? Do you want to pay $4,000 in taxes or $800 in taxes on your $10,000 wholesale fee? What do you want to do, right? So you have knowledge. Like, give a crap about what they do and what they spent money on and why they feel they're failing, or why it's taking so long, or how do they feel about researching the internet all the time and spending 2 hours on Bigger Pockets just to hear a bunch of people who have never done a deal tell them how to do a deal. Like, how does that feel in your Facebook group? Like, do you ever read any of the like, we're asking, you're asking, hey, you're in your Facebook group over there. And yeah, it's free and you're joining. There's all kinds of people doing deals in Florida and Georgia and, you know, wherever the heck they're coming from, and they're telling you how to do it. You ever read some of the comments and some of the questions? Like some of the things like you would, don't you, you know, and you don't tell them, but you'd be like, you ever thought that maybe they don't know anything? Yeah, you should see some of the stuff these people. Yeah, and you know, some of these people sound pretty good, don't you think? Yeah, some guys really know what they're talking about. I'm like, how do you know that they know what they're talking about? Like, how do you know who you're listening to? Well, you know, just because, you know, it's, you know, I'm like, did you ever ask them how many deals they did or who their mentor is or where they got their information from? Well, not really. I'm like, then what do you do? You know, and I wouldn't even say then why, right? Then I would say, well, listen, what would it be like if you compared our instructor to your instructor in Facebook group and see if they're alike? Why would you like to just even watch a 30-minute section on that, right? And give them an alternative and be like, oh, that might be an idea, right? But you can't just say, oh, you got to see our instructor and watch it, and you're definitely going to see how it's way better than yours, right? We can't tell sell. We got to ask sell. We got to have them tell us what they are lacking in, so we can give them an option and not even tell them what the option is, the alternative is. Hope that makes sense. I hope try to bring that full circle. I'm looking at my notes and I probably skipped a couple things, but you know, the comp plan that she did yesterday and all the resources that we have, the trainings there. Michael said it good yesterday. Michael said it good. I'm pretty sure that's not English, but you don't have to get on every call. You just have to get on my call, and then you have to tell all your friends. No, I'm just kidding. But you can pick and choose your events of your day in the course of your week and the time that you have, and you can get some really good training. When something's lacking, you can go find it with Scooty and all the other places, or the webinar, or wherever it is. You can the 10-step program. But we got to get really good at getting people through the system, understanding what it is that we have and when to use our comp plan is powerful. And in front of the right person for the right reason, we'll close them. But we got to understand it and know what it's for. Just like we got to understand and know what our community, right? How we present the community, how we offer the community as an asset, how we offer our documents or our education, the time, the length of it, or whatever it is. These are all different pieces of the pie that you just pull out of your belt every once in a while, and you lay it on the table for them to take a nibble at and sniff and taste at the right time. And we have to understand. So we have to become an expert in Renatus by studying, by getting on these calls, and then let's cater to the right individuals. You guys pull out your lists, remake your lists, go after your warm market, and you will make, I don't care, swallow your pride, you will make $10,000 or get qualified or whatever it is, or share a fat commission with your 5-star over the next 30 days if you hit the right people with the right questions. Yep. All right, how can I get the PowerPoint comp? You can't, Grace, it's only for leaders like me. So it's not available. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna probably have to pay Tawny to give it to me. No, I don't know. It's a good question. So Keely says, reach out to Tawny. This is so funny. Sue, you're awesome. Keely, yeah, I kind of make myself laugh. All right, you got to lighten it up and have fun, you know, as always as well. So really, I just wanted to work off of what Michael and Tawny did yesterday. It was amazing. Dane Clark's going to kill it tomorrow. You guys make it possible. This call, I look forward to it. I don't care if it was 6 a.m. or 3 a.m. I would do this call because of you people. That James coming out here and sharing with me, and you know, probably so many people have that same question. Billy, as always, you're awesome. Keely and Sue and everybody just being here. Hilda and Grace, it's just so powerful. Wanda, you're a blessing. Wanda kills it on Thursday with mindset. You know, you need a little mindset. You need a little coaching. You need a little counseling. And Wanda gives it to you on Thursdays, you guys. So this is so cool. All right. Okay, the PowerPoints and Helios. There you go. Wanda's like a walking encyclopedia of information for Renatus. She's like, she knows it all. With that, I got 8:05. I always go long. I'm sorry about that. It's because I love you guys so much. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today. I loved it. I hope I don't usually go as structured as I was, but any thoughts, comments, questions? We love you, Billy. Thank you, Keely. Thanks, Bobby Johnson. You're awesome. Sue G.
Hey, Bill.
Yes, sir,
Hey,
Billy.
Bill.
Why, boss?
I got something real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, I put my video on so you guys can see my sriracha sauce I just spilled on my truck because I'm driving while I eating while I drive. But I'm going to look at I was down in Florida this weekend in Tampa on a venue site, farmhouse for a wedding. It was freaking awesome. The wheels started spinning. I jumped on the computer. I'm going to look at a property today south of Savannah on the marsh. It's 10 acres. There's a small house. I'm looking at maybe a small RV, 8 to 10 RV park with a venue. And it's got a freshwater pond overlooking the marsh. So if anybody's excited or interested in something like that, hit me up. They just dropped it 60,000. I don't know what's going on with that. I went and looked yesterday, but I'm going back with an agent today. So I'll hit you up, Bill. I'll let you know how it goes.
Sounds good, man. You know I'm here for you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you so much.
All right, you too, my friend. You too. The feeling is mutual, everybody. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Jenna. As always, you're awesome. Thanks, Keely, for putting this all together, and Michael Huggins for paying for all this stuff like he does. So thanks, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys hit me up if you need me. 7 Hawaii Boss Man, you are awesome. I will hit one more time. 760-533-3141. 760-533-3141. You guys make it a great day. Make it Tuesday. Make it happen. Hopefully I close this line of credit thing tomorrow. All right, you guys. See ya.